Time is a really weird concept because as I'm enjoying the spring 2022 shows such as Healer Girl, cleaning up stragglers and rewatching shows in dub, the next season is already almost here. This is also a season of sequels, and for me, a show I was able to watch airing 9 years ago. I'm gonna cut myself some slack and say that I might need a little bit of a refresher. So today, as I sit still amazed that this got a sequel 9 years later, I want to talk about 3 of my favorite things in 300 seconds about Hataraku Maou-Sama, or The Devil is a Part-Timer. A show's title and initial concept can say a lot about the story to be told, and while The Devil is a Part-Timer is a very descriptive title, it also manages to be not what it says. For example, while it's presented as a major plot point, and while the characters do use it as a source of humor and twisted motivation, the Demon King working at McDonald's isn't that important. I mean, by episode 2, they get attacked on the streets, and for the next 3 episodes, we follow the aftermath, leading to a showdown between demons, heroes, and corrupt priests, with the lives of innocents on the line. The show's concept is barely there, and it's not until we get a cool down between the arcs where the working as a part-timer rears back in. And even then, it's more a tool for characterization, comedy, and a lighter slice of life tone, before naturally leading into another set piece. The show played both sides, character-centric comedy and an exploration of magical beings transported into the mortal realm. This gave the show a very nice flow, where I was always on my feet and the story wasn't restrained by the concept. Since the show isn't concerned with sticking to a singular tone, it's able to tackle different topics and create depth through tone shifts. Its base is comedy. From the first episode's surprise Super Size Me reference and nonchalant transition to a reduced Demon King, to episode 10's appreciated Devil's Soul reference and sudden visual contrast to enhance ridiculousness. There are even language differences, with episode 5 adding a joke, not to mention voice acting, supplementing the humorous undertones of even serious scenes. Serious scenes and emotional highlights are plentiful. One of my favorites is the casual confession in episode 8 and is presented naturally from conversation. The cry of cicadas slowly dims into a piano rendition of the ending. Careful close shots of intimacy follow each response, and one subtle wide shot representing Suzuno's perspective is comedically revealed to end the scene. It retains its comedic base, but it still allowed itself to reach into a different mood. It's an understated moment in presentation and an encapsulation of its storytelling. The action scenes were also very fitting, focusing on spectacle to showcase strength and highlighting that they are outsiders. But many of the scenes don't drag on for too long, ending in quick beatdowns with humorous dialogue. This made many fights eventually become less tense and slow down into jokes of their own. Hataraku's insistence on handling different moods, freely switching tones, made watching very engaging and layered. This mostly felt natural too, since the show presents that expectation right from the beginning. This final point is one that I can only really make in these very not so rare anymore cases. While I'm not sure we know details of how the production came to be, we do have a mixture of new and returning staff. This will inevitably change the show, but being able to see a show evolve in this way is really interesting. The short PV we have displays a different art style and animation. If they aren't showing key action scenes and want to present returning characters, then I can excuse the limited animation. But it's an undeniably different art style and a direction which can change a story. For example, are we going to get core emotional scenes emphasizing and characterizing in a meaningful way? Will the action scenes have as much weight and spectacle to really bring out how distinct they should feel? Tracing previous work from the new staff, and seeing what elements and flair they can bring is quite fun to think about. Will the scenes feel like Hataraku, or will it feel more like the other shows they've worked on? And how will that affect the feeling of the story? The story had its chance with the previous team, and now we can get something different, a new viewing and interpretation of the material. Even if it may not turn out to be quality, I'm still having a lot of fun in this unknown and experience of seeing a show and story evolve in real time, which I don't often get to partake in. Alright, that was a very strange last point, even by my standards, and it feels odd calling that one of my favorite points, but honestly, while watching Hataraku, I had more than just the story in mind. I still enjoyed what the show was about, but I couldn't get out of my head this new reality and direction for the series. The few times I've gotten to experience that, the shift in team didn't really make that much of a difference, and in some cases I preferred the change. But here at first glance, it's quite a departure. If anything, even if it does become less desirable, I can at least rest assured that I can always go back to where it all started, with the devil as a part-timer. And that was the end of the video, and as I was editing this, a new trailer for the second season of Hataraku came out, which had different visuals, but it was also different from the first trailer. So again, that whole idea of seeing something change. But regardless, I am excited to see what happens and how they decide to change it. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.